For centuries, the predictions of Nostradamus have sparked intense fascination and speculation. His cryptic writings, often interpreted as prophecies of significant events in history, continue to captivate minds across the world. Among these predictions, one stands out: the vision of a global power that would rise to dominate the world economy, reshaping nations and industries. But as we look around at today's rapidly changing world, we might wonder, could Nostradamus have foreseen the development of the modern global economy? In the age of globalization, technology has connected us in ways that were once unimaginable. Borders seem to blur as economies intertwine, and countries rely on one another for trade, resources, and innovation. Global markets operate 24/7. Financial systems grow more centralized, and international organizations have more influence than ever before. But is all this progress leading to the world Nostradamus predicted? A world where one power controls everything? Could we be witnessing the early stages of the very thing he foresaw, an all-encompassing economic system that transcends national boundaries? As we delve deeper into this question, we must explore how the global economy has evolved and how it aligns with ancient predictions. Is the world really heading toward a one-world government? What does this mean for our futures and our freedom? Stick with us as we unravel this mystery. And don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel so you can stay updated on future videos about global shifts, history, and prophecies. In the modern world, the global economy is an intricate network of financial markets, trade agreements, technology exchanges, and political alliances. Over the past few decades, the pace of economic globalization has accelerated at an unprecedented rate, bringing new opportunities but also risks. As nations become more interconnected, the idea of a single global economic system has gained traction. Could this be the very development Nostradamus warned of in his cryptic prophecies? To understand how Nostradamus' warnings might relate to today's global economy, we need to look at both the historical context of his predictions and the major economic shifts that have occurred over the last century. Nostradamus, a 16th-century astrologer, physician, and seer, wrote in a time when the concept of globalization was unimaginable. However, some of his most famous quatrains seem to describe events far beyond his time, leaving many to believe that he foresaw the rise of economic powers that would change the world. One such warning comes in the form of his quatrains about a great power that would arise, which many believe refers to the dominance of a single economic system or a coalition of nations that would wield unparalleled control over the world's resources and markets. As we look at today's global economic landscape, it's clear that the world is moving towards increasing centralization, the dominance of multinational corporations, the rise of global financial institutions, and the increasing reach of technological giants all point to the consolidation of power in the hands of a few entities. The economic evolution began in earnest after World War II, with institutions like the United Nations, the World Bank, and the International Monetary Fund, IMF, shaping the modern global economic framework. These organizations, founded with the goal of promoting international cooperation and economic stability, have played key roles in regulating trade, supporting development, and managing financial crises. However, as these institutions grow more influential, they also spark debates over their role in consolidating power on a global scale. A major shift occurred in the late 20th century, when advances in technology and communication led to the rise of the digital economy. The internet connected markets and people across the globe, while the movement towards free trade and the establishment of global economic agreements like the North American Free Trade Agreement, NAFTA, and the World Trade Organization, WTO, created an environment where businesses could operate on a global scale. This development has further increased the interdependence of nations, with financial markets becoming more integrated and less reliant on traditional borders. However, this growing interconnectedness has also introduced new risks. Economists have raised concerns about the potential for financial crises to spread globally, as evidenced by the 2008 global financial crisis, which began in the United States but quickly affected economies around the world. In addition, the dominance of certain nations and corporations has led to increasing inequality, With the wealth gap widening between developed and developing countries, these challenges, along with the rise of automation and artificial intelligence, have prompted many to question the sustainability of the global economic model. Nostradamus, in his writings, often spoke of a time when leaders of many nations would be bound together by a single force, which could be interpreted as the centralization of power under a unified economic system. Some modern scholars see this as a warning against the concentration of economic and political power in the hands of a few global elites, whether through multinational corporations or global institutions. This concentration could lead to the erosion of national sovereignty and individual freedoms. As we continue to see the development of the global economy, the question remains, are we heading toward the world that Nostradamus predicted? One where a singular economic force dictates the future of all nations? Or can we find a path that avoids the pitfalls his prophecies warned of, such as the risk of exploitation, economic disparity, and the loss of personal freedoms? The future of the global economy will depend on how we navigate these challenges. Whether or not Nostradamus' warnings hold true, his insights serve as a reminder to examine the broader implications of economic power and the delicate balance required to ensure a fair and sustainable global system. The concept of a global economic system has long been a subject of debate, with both proponents and critics offering varying perspectives on its potential benefits and drawbacks. However, in an increasingly interconnected world, many argue that the establishment of a more unified global system could lead to significant advantages for both developed and developing nations. By looking at key benefits such as economic stability, international cooperation, and resource distribution, it becomes clear that a global economic framework might not only be a theoretical ideal, but also a practical necessity for addressing pressing global challenges. One of the most compelling arguments in favor of a global economic system is the potential for enhanced economic stability. In the modern world, economic crises in one part of the world can quickly spread to others, as evidenced by the global financial crisis of 2008. A more unified economic system could help to mitigate these risks by promoting greater coordination between nations and ensuring that financial systems are more resilient to shocks. With global institutions such as the International Monetary Fund, IMF, and the World Bank already working to stabilize economies, a more integrated approach could foster even greater stability. By establishing global financial regulations and mechanisms for crisis management, the world could reduce the frequency and severity of recessions and economic downturns. Furthermore, a global economic system could foster deeper international cooperation. The global economy is already interdependent, with countries relying on each other for trade, technology, and resources. By strengthening this interdependence, nations could work together to address shared challenges such as climate change, poverty, and disease. A unified economic framework would enable countries to pool resources and expertise, making it easier to tackle these complex issues. For instance, a global system could facilitate more effective distribution of aid during humanitarian crises or pandemics, ensuring that assistance reaches those in need more quickly and efficiently. In addition, a global economic system could contribute to more equitable resource distribution. Currently, wealth inequality remains one of the most significant global challenges, with developing nations struggling to access the same opportunities and resources as their wealthier counterparts. A more integrated global system could help to bridge this gap by promoting fairer trade practices, ensuring that all countries benefit from economic growth. By focusing on the collective good, a global system could address issues such as access to healthcare, education, and technology, helping to lift millions out of poverty and providing opportunities for sustainable development. A unified global economic system would also encourage the development and sharing of technology and innovation. As global markets become more integrated, technological advancements in one country can quickly be adopted and adapted by others. This could accelerate the pace of innovation and help address critical issues such as climate change, renewable energy, and sustainable agriculture. For example, developing countries could benefit from access to the latest technologies, allowing them to leapfrog over older, less efficient systems and adopt more sustainable practices. As technology continues to drive economic growth, a global system could ensure that innovations are accessible to all, fostering a more inclusive and sustainable global economy. Moreover, a global system could help address issues of conflict and security. Economic interdependence tends to reduce the likelihood of war, as nations with strong trade relationships are less likely to engage in armed conflict. A global system that promotes peaceful cooperation and conflict resolution could contribute to a more stable world, where the emphasis is placed on dialogue and diplomacy rather than military intervention. By fostering collaboration between nations, a unified economic system could also create a platform for addressing political and social tensions, promoting peace and security in regions that have historically been prone to conflict. Of course, the implementation of such a global system would not be without challenges. Critics argue that a single economic framework could lead to the concentration of power in the hands of a few nations or multinational corporations, exacerbating inequalities and reducing national sovereignty. However, if designed carefully, a global system could mitigate these risks by ensuring that all nations have an equal voice in decision-making processes and by prioritizing the welfare of all people, rather than the interests of a select few. In conclusion, while the idea of a global economic system may seem daunting, it presents an opportunity for nations to work together in ways that have never been possible before. By fostering economic stability, encouraging cooperation, ensuring equitable resource distribution, promoting technological advancement, and reducing the risk of conflict, a global system could pave the way for a more prosperous and peaceful world. As we face increasingly complex global challenges, the need for greater integration and collaboration has never been more urgent. A global economic framework, if carefully managed, could offer a path forward toward a more sustainable and harmonious future for all. The mark of the beast has been a subject of fascination and fear for centuries, especially in the context of biblical prophecy, often associated with the Book of Revelation. This symbol of control and corruption has intrigued theologians, scholars, and conspiracy theorists alike. The idea of a mark, which is said to be required for participation in the economic and social systems of a future global society, raises important questions about the intersection of religion, technology, and society. As we continue to advance in our technological capabilities and our dependence on digital systems, it is worth considering: is the mark of the beast nearing, or is it merely a metaphor for something else? 1. Understanding the mark of the beast in biblical prophecy. The concept of the mark of the beast originates in the Christian Bible, specifically in the Book of Revelation, written by the Apostle John. Revelation 13 verses 16 to 17 describes a mark that is to be placed on the hand or forehead of individuals, making it impossible for them to buy or sell goods without it. This mark is said to be a symbol of allegiance to the beast, often identified with a figure of immense power and evil, sometimes equated with the Antichrist. The passage reads, "It also forced all people, great and small, rich and poor, free and slave, to receive a mark on their right hands or on their foreheads, so that they could not buy or sell unless they had the mark, which is the name of the beast or the number of its name." Revelation 13 verses 16 to 17. Nave. The idea of a mark, particularly one tied to economic and social control, has been interpreted in various ways throughout history. For centuries, the mark of the beast was viewed as a symbol of spiritual or moral corruption. In more modern times, however, it has taken on a more literal meaning, often linked to technology and surveillance. 2. The rise of digital currency and the cashless society. In recent decades, the global financial system has experienced a major shift toward digitalization. With the rise of cryptocurrencies, contactless payments, and digital banking, the traditional reliance on cash is rapidly diminishing. Some have seen this as a precursor to a cashless society, where all transactions are recorded electronically and individuals must use digital means to engage in economic activities. This shift toward a cashless society bears a striking resemblance to the prophecy in Revelation, where a mark is required for participation in the marketplace. As the global economy becomes increasingly digital, Many are concerned about the potential for a system that could restrict access to goods and services for those who refuse to comply with certain technological standards or government mandates. For instance, governments and financial institutions are already experimenting with central bank digital currencies, CBDCs. These digital currencies, issued by central banks, are gaining traction as a potential alternative to traditional money. While proponents argue that CBDCs could offer greater efficiency and financial inclusion, critics fear that they could lead to unprecedented surveillance and control over individuals' financial transactions. In a world where everything is tracked digitally, the idea of a system that could block or restrict access to funds for those who do not comply with certain regulations or beliefs becomes more plausible. 3. The role of surveillance and control in modern society. Another aspect of the mark of the beast prophecy that has gained attention in recent years is the increasing use of surveillance technologies. Governments and corporations have access to vast amounts of personal data, often collected through smartphones, social media, and other digital platforms. This data can be used to track individuals' movements, behaviors, and preferences, creating a digital footprint that can be monitored and manipulated. In some countries, governments have implemented systems that track citizens' health, travel, and economic activity, often under the guise of public safety or national security. The widespread adoption of facial recognition technology, biometric data collection, and other forms of surveillance has raised concerns about the erosion of privacy and civil liberties. For many, these developments echo the warnings in Revelation about a system of control that would monitor and regulate people's actions. The idea that individuals could be prevented from buying or selling based on their digital identity or social credit score becomes more plausible as these technologies become more pervasive. 4. Technological advancements and the potential for implantable devices. Perhaps the most striking aspect of the mark of the beast prophecy is the notion that the mark would be placed on the hand or forehead. In recent years, technological advancements have brought us closer to the possibility of implantable devices that could serve as both identification and payment systems. For example, there are already companies that have developed microchip implants for employees, allowing them to use their hands to access secure areas or make payments. These implants, which are often embedded under the skin, can be used as a form of identification, eliminating the need for physical cards or keys. While these implants are currently voluntary and limited in scope, they represent a step toward the kind of system described in Revelation. Some proponents of implantable technology argue that these devices could enhance security, streamline payments, and improve convenience. However, critics worry about the potential for abuse, as implantable devices could be used for surveillance, control, and manipulation. In the worst-case scenario, such technology could be used to track every movement and transaction, effectively giving authorities unprecedented control over individuals' lives. 5. The push for global governance and one-world systems. A major element of the mark of the beast prophecy is the idea of a centralized global system that enforces its rules on all nations and peoples. Throughout history, there have been numerous attempts to create global governance structures, ranging from the League of Nations to the United Nations. In recent years, the idea of a one-world government has gained traction, with some advocating for greater international cooperation to address global challenges such as climate change, pandemics, and economic inequality. While global cooperation is essential in addressing many of the world's problems, there are concerns about the potential for overreach and the consolidation of power in the hands of a few global elites. A system that enforces a single set of rules across all nations could lead to the creation of an authoritarian regime where dissent is suppressed and individual freedoms are curtailed. The idea that such a system could eventually require individuals to accept a mark in order to participate in society is a chilling thought for many. In a world where political and economic power is increasingly concentrated in the hands of multinational corporations and supranational organizations, the possibility of a global system that forces compliance through technological means becomes more plausible. 6. Is the mark of the beast near? The question of whether the mark of the beast is near is one that many people are asking in light of these developments. While it is impossible to predict the future with certainty, there are undeniable parallels between the biblical prophecy and the current trajectory of technological, economic, and political trends. As the world becomes more interconnected and digital, and as governments and corporations increase their control over information and resources, the idea of a global system that requires compliance from all individuals seems increasingly possible. Whether or not the mark of the beast, as described in the Bible, is a literal event or a symbolic representation of something else remains a matter of debate. However, it is clear that the issues raised by this prophecy, surveillance, control, and the erosion of individual freedoms, are very real concerns in today's world. As we move forward into the future, it is essential to remain vigilant and aware of the potential consequences of these developments. The path toward a more interconnected world offers many benefits, but it also comes with risks. Whether or not the mark of the beast is near, the warning it presents should serve as a reminder of the importance of safeguarding our freedoms and ensuring that technology is used to empower individuals, not to control them. The Bible, often regarded as one of the most influential books in human history, contains numerous stories and teachings that offer guidance on how to navigate the complexities of life. These stories, spanning millennia, not only shape the spiritual and moral foundations of many cultures, but also provide timeless lessons that can help individuals and societies make sense of their circumstances. In addition to the Bible, history itself is filled with powerful stories of human perseverance, triumph, and failure. These stories, whether drawn from religious texts or historical events, carry valuable lessons that remain relevant in our modern world. 1. The story of the Exodus, freedom and redemption. One of the most pivotal stories in the Bible is the Exodus, in which Moses leads the Israelites out of slavery in Egypt. The Israelites' journey from bondage to freedom is a symbol of the struggle for liberation and the importance of faith in times of oppression. In this story, Moses confronts Pharaoh, demanding that he let God's people go. And after a series of divine plagues, the Israelites are freed from centuries of enslavement. However, their journey to the Promised Land is not an easy one. They face hardships, doubts, and rebellions along the way. But their ultimate salvation comes through God's guidance and faithfulness. The lessons from the Exodus story are profound. It teaches that liberation is often a long and difficult process, but faith, resilience, and the pursuit of justice can lead to freedom. Moreover, it emphasizes the importance of listening to divine guidance and remaining hopeful even in the face of overwhelming adversity. The Exodus narrative has inspired countless movements for social justice and freedom throughout history, reminding us that change is possible even when the odds seem insurmountable. 2. David and Goliath, the power of courage and faith. Another well-known story from the Bible is the account of David and Goliath. In this story, the young shepherd David defeats the giant warrior Goliath with a single stone from his sling. The battle between David, a mere boy, and Goliath, a seasoned and formidable warrior, symbolizes the triumph of courage, faith, and God's power over seemingly insurmountable odds. David's victory is not just a physical one, it is a spiritual victory, as it demonstrates the strength of faith and the belief that, with God's help, the powerless can overcome the powerful. The story of David and Goliath teaches the importance of courage and conviction in the face of adversity. It reminds us that strength is not always measured by physical size or power, but by one's inner resolve and trust in a higher purpose. This story has inspired many throughout history to confront their own giants, whether they be personal challenges or societal injustices. It underscores the idea that, with faith and determination, even the most daunting challenges can be overcome. 3. The prodigal son, forgiveness and redemption. The parable of the prodigal son is one of Jesus' most famous teachings, illustrating the concepts of forgiveness, repentance, and unconditional love. In this story, a young man asks his father for his inheritance and goes to squander it on a life of indulgence and excess. When a famine strikes, the prodigal son finds himself destitute and decides to return to his father in repentance. The father, filled with compassion, welcomes him back with open arms, offering forgiveness and a feast in celebration of his return. This parable teaches us about the boundless nature of forgiveness and the possibility of redemption. It emphasizes that no matter how far one has fallen, there is always the opportunity for repentance and reconciliation. The Father's unconditional love symbolizes the divine love of God, who is always ready to forgive and embrace those who seek his grace. This story has had a profound impact on Christian teachings about the nature of God's love and the importance of humility and repentance. In addition to its spiritual significance, the parable of the prodigal son also carries practical lessons about personal growth and relationships. It teaches the value of humility, the importance of recognizing one's mistakes, and the transformative power of forgiveness. In a world often marked by judgment and division, this story serves as a reminder of the healing power of grace and reconciliation. 4. The fall of Rome. The consequences of hubris and corruption. While biblical stories offer spiritual lessons, history itself is full of examples of civilizations that have risen to greatness only to fall due to their own internal weaknesses. The fall of the Roman Empire is one such example, offering lessons about the dangers of hubris, corruption, and the erosion of civic responsibility. At its peak, the Roman Empire was the most powerful and advanced civilization in the world, controlling vast territories across Europe, North Africa, and the Middle East. However, over time, internal corruption, political instability, and economic decline led to the empire's collapse. The once great Roman Empire fractured into smaller kingdoms and was eventually overtaken by barbarian tribes. The fall of Rome teaches us the importance of maintaining strong institutions, promoting good governance, and avoiding the complacency that often accompanies power. It is a cautionary tale about the dangers of excess, corruption, and the erosion of ethical values. Just as Rome's leaders became more focused on personal gain and luxury than on the welfare of their people, modern societies must guard against similar tendencies that can lead to societal decline. The lesson is clear. Civilizations and empires must prioritize integrity, justice, and the well-being of their citizens to avoid the fate of Rome. 5. The Civil Rights Movement, the power of nonviolent resistance. A more recent historical example of courage and transformation is the Civil Rights Movement in the United States, which sought to end racial segregation and discrimination. Led by figures like Martin Luther King Jr., the movement advocated for equality and justice through nonviolent resistance, drawing on principles of peace and love that resonate with biblical teachings. The civil rights movement offers lessons in the power of nonviolent protest, the importance of standing up for justice, and the enduring strength of community. Martin Luther King Jr.'s philosophy of peaceful resistance was rooted in his Christian faith, and his efforts inspired millions to work for a more just and equitable society. The movement demonstrated that change is possible when individuals and communities come together to challenge injustice with dignity and resolve. The lessons of the civil rights movement remain relevant today, reminding us that systemic change requires both courage and patience. The fight for equality and justice continues, and the story of the movement teaches us that no matter how entrenched injustice may seem, change is possible through collective action and unwavering faith in the principles of equality and human dignity. 6. Conclusion. The timeless relevance of stories and lessons. Whether drawn from biblical narratives or historical events, the stories and lessons from the past provide valuable insights into the human condition. They teach us about resilience in the face of adversity, the importance of integrity and justice, and the transformative power of forgiveness, love, and faith. As we face the challenges of the modern world, we can draw inspiration from these timeless stories, using them as a guide to navigate the complexities of life and make meaningful contributions to the world around us. In exploring the intersections of prophecy, global systems, historical narratives, and the lessons drawn from both religious texts and history, we are reminded of the deep currents that shape the future of humanity. The stories and warnings from ancient sources, such as those found in the Bible and other historical texts, continue to resonate with us today. These ancient wisdoms have a timeless quality that helps illuminate the paths we may take in the future, providing a framework through which we can navigate the complexities of the modern world. Throughout this exploration, we've seen how the warnings of figures like Nostradamus and the biblical predictions about a global system of control could reflect real-world concerns about the future of our society. These warnings, though often shrouded in symbolism and mystery, suggest that we must be vigilant in ensuring that power structures are designed in ways that protect human dignity, freedom, and autonomy. They urge us to reflect on the potential for authoritarianism and the loss of individual rights in an increasingly interconnected world. As we move forward, the possibility of a global system holds both great promise and significant risk. The development of such a system could offer solutions to global challenges, such as climate change, economic inequality, and international conflict. It could streamline cooperation and create a more unified response to global crises, ensuring that resources and solutions are more equitably distributed. However, without careful thought and vigilance, this same system could become a mechanism for centralizing power, limiting personal freedoms, and exacerbating inequalities. One of the key takeaways from both prophecy and history is the importance of balance. The lessons from the Bible and historical events, such as the rise and fall of empires, the struggle for civil rights, and the power of forgiveness and redemption, all point to the necessity of maintaining ethical principles in the face of power. Whether it's the unwavering faith seen in the Exodus, the courage of David in confronting Goliath, or the resilience of individuals and movements challenging systemic injustice, these stories remind us that the power of the human spirit, when rooted in righteousness and justice, can withstand even the greatest challenges. Moreover, the Bible's teachings on forgiveness, humility, and redemption continue to offer essential moral guidance. The parable of the prodigal son, for example, reinforces the idea that no one is beyond the reach of grace, and that the possibility for change and transformation is always within our grasp. This message is equally pertinent in the context of societal challenges, where the ability to forgive, reconcile, and build bridges is essential for healing divisions and ensuring progress. At the same time, the historical lessons, such as the downfall of great empires and the rise of powerful social movements, caution us against complacency. The lessons learned from these events emphasize the need for continual reflection, adaptability, and a commitment to safeguarding freedom and justice. If we are to create a future that reflects the ideals of fairness, equality, and compassion, we must remain vigilant in our pursuit of these goals, actively resisting forces that seek to undermine them. In terms of the global system, its potential benefits are clear. A well-managed global network could offer solutions to issues like poverty, inequality, and climate change. It could facilitate better cooperation among nations, allowing for more effective responses to shared challenges. This interconnectedness could bring about a more just and sustainable world, where resources are shared more equitably and where the collective good is prioritized. However, history and prophecy both serve as warnings. As with any system of power, the global network we envision must be built on a foundation of transparency, accountability, and respect for individual rights. Without these principles, the very structure designed to bring about harmony could become a tool for oppression and control, as seen in historical examples of empire building and authoritarian rule. Therefore, it is crucial that those who seek to design and implement such systems prioritize the ethical considerations that ensure the protection of human freedoms and dignity. Key takeaways: the importance of vigilance in a global system. While a global system could offer solutions to pressing global challenges, it also poses risks. It is essential to ensure that such systems prioritize individual freedoms, democracy, and justice, avoiding the pitfalls of authoritarianism. The power of historical and biblical lessons. The lessons from the Bible and history are relevant in understanding how power and control operate within societies. The stories of the Exodus, David and Goliath, and the prodigal son offer guidance on how faith, courage, and redemption can shape our responses to challenges. The need for ethical principles. Both prophecy and history emphasize the importance of maintaining ethical principles when facing power structures. Whether it's through forgiveness, reconciliation, or justice. These values are necessary to prevent the abuse of power and the erosion of freedoms. The promise and peril of global systems. A well-managed global system could improve cooperation, address global issues, and create a more just world. However, it is crucial to ensure that the system does not become a tool for exploitation or control, as history has shown us that unchecked power can lead to the downfall of societies. The role of humanity in shaping the future. Ultimately, the future is not determined by prophecy alone, but by the choices we make as individuals and societies. By reflecting on the lessons of the past and remaining committed to justice, equality, and human dignity, we can shape a future that truly benefits all of humanity. In conclusion, as we stand on the precipice of a potential global system, the lessons from both history and prophecy offer a guiding light. We must navigate the complexities of our interconnected world with wisdom, compassion, and a steadfast commitment to the principles that ensure the flourishing of all people. The choices we make today will determine the world we leave for future generations. And it is through the application of the timeless lessons of the past that we can build a better, more just future for all. As we approach 2025, the health and well-being of world leaders are more crucial than ever, both for the individual countries they govern and for the broader global political landscape. These leaders, who wield significant influence over international relations, economic policies, and geopolitical dynamics, are facing a variety of challenges that could impact their personal health and, consequently, their ability to lead effectively. Health issues can affect their capacity to make decisions, manage crises, and provide the stability that their nations require. In recent years, there has been increasing attention to the health of leaders, particularly as aging populations in many powerful countries raise questions about the viability of long-term leadership. Many heads of state and government, particularly in Western democracies, are in their late 60s, 70s, and even 80s. In fact, several prominent world leaders, such as U.S. President Joe Biden, Russian President Vladimir Putin, and others, will likely be facing the challenges associated with aging during this critical period. The decisions these leaders make could have lasting consequences, not only for their own health, but for the international order as a whole. The potential for health-related disruptions to political stability is a factor that is not lost on political analysts. With advancements in medical science and technology, we are seeing longer life expectancies and an increased focus on maintaining the health of public figures. However, aging and the associated risks of chronic illnesses, cognitive decline, and the stress of leadership can still take a significant toll. For instance, the physical and mental strain that comes with managing national crises, overseeing diplomacy, and making life-altering decisions for millions of people can exacerbate existing health issues. Impact of aging on world leaders. The effect of aging on the leadership of world leaders is an ongoing topic of debate. As mentioned earlier, many of the world's most powerful figures are now in their senior years. In the United States, President Biden, who is the oldest president in American history, will turn 82 in 2025. His advanced age has prompted discussions about his physical and mental health, particularly in relation to the demands of the presidency. While he has remained active and engaged in his role, the mental and physical strain of the presidency can be immense. Questions about his cognitive function, stamina, and overall health have been raised in the media, with critics suggesting that it may be time for a younger generation to take the helm. This could become a significant issue in the lead-up to the 2024 presidential election, with the possibility of a new, younger leader taking charge of the world's largest democracy. In Russia, President Vladimir Putin has been in power for over 2 decades, and his health has been a subject of speculation for several years. As Putin ages, concerns about his long-term health, especially given the demanding nature of his leadership position, have grown. Additionally, with increasing geopolitical tensions, including Russia's involvement in Ukraine and its relations with NATO and the West, Putin's health could play a pivotal role in determining the future direction of Russian foreign policy. A sudden decline in his health could lead to a power vacuum, and the leadership transition process in Russia has historically been opaque. leaving uncertainty about who would step into his shoes. In China, President Xi Jinping, who is also in his late 60s, is expected to continue his leadership role into 2025 and beyond. China's political structure has allowed for more continuity in leadership, and while she is not as elderly as some Western leaders, the health of the Chinese president remains critical, given Xi's central role in guiding China's foreign policy, economic strategy, and handling domestic challenges such as population aging and environmental concerns. His health will be closely watched. Any potential health setbacks could lead to questions about his ability to lead effectively, especially as China seeks to assert itself on the global stage. Global health challenges for leaders. As the world's leaders grapple with the pressures of their roles, they must also contend with larger global health challenges that could have an indirect impact on their own well-being. The world has been recovering from the devastating effects of the COVID-19 pandemic, and the mental and emotional toll it has taken on leaders cannot be underestimated. For many, the pandemic has highlighted vulnerabilities in the healthcare system and the stress of dealing with public health crises. Additionally, the mental health of world leaders has become an increasingly important topic. The psychological burden of leadership is immense. In today's interconnected world, leaders must constantly manage crises ranging from economic instability to climate change and national security threats. The isolation, stress, and high expectations placed on heads of state can lead to burnout, anxiety, and other mental health issues. As society becomes more attuned to mental health challenges, leaders may need to find ways to prioritize their well-being to avoid the physical and emotional toll of their positions. The environment is another key factor that will impact the health of world leaders. Environmental stressors such as pollution, extreme weather events, and the physical effects of climate change could take a toll on leaders who are already managing a full workload. Moreover, global health trends like rising obesity rates, cardiovascular diseases, and diabetes among aging populations could become more prevalent among top officials. Public scrutiny of leaders' health is intensifying, as people become increasingly concerned about the competence of aging leaders to address such global issues effectively. Technological advancements in healthcare. Despite these challenges, technological advancements in healthcare are likely to extend the lives and improve the quality of life for world leaders. New treatments, medical technologies, and a greater focus on preventative care are providing hope for longer, healthier lives. For example, advancements in AI, precision medicine, and robotic surgeries have revolutionized healthcare, offering improved outcomes for conditions that might have been debilitating in the past. These innovations could allow leaders to remain in their roles for longer periods, even as they age. The field of longevity research is also gaining traction, with scientists working toward extending human life expectancy and preventing age-related diseases. Stem cell therapies, gene editing, and other cutting-edge medical developments are opening up new possibilities for enhancing the health of individuals, including world leaders. As these technologies evolve, they could play a role in sustaining the physical and cognitive health of leaders, enabling them to remain in power for extended periods. However, it is important to note that these technologies come with their own ethical and societal concerns. The availability of these treatments could create disparities in health outcomes, with wealthy leaders and countries having greater access to advanced medical care than others. Moreover, there is the question of whether it is ethical for any leader, regardless of their health, to remain in power for too long, especially if their health deteriorates to the point of impairing their ability to govern effectively. Looking ahead to 2025 and beyond. As 2025 approaches, the health of world leaders will continue to be an area of interest and concern. With aging leaders in many of the world's most powerful nations, health issues could become a critical factor in determining the stability of their governments and the direction of international relations. The physical and mental well-being of these leaders will not only affect their ability to perform their duties, but could also influence global events and decisions that shape the future of the world. While advancements in healthcare may provide hope for extended leadership tenures, the realities of aging, health crises, and the stresses of leadership remain significant challenges. The importance of addressing the health and wellness of world leaders cannot be overstated. as their personal health directly affects their ability to serve their nations and influence global developments. In the years ahead, it will be crucial for countries to consider succession plans and ensure that their leadership structures are resilient, especially as aging leaders transition out of power. The future of global politics may well be shaped not only by the geopolitical decisions of these leaders, but also by how they manage their own health in the face of the immense challenges they face. As we look toward 2025, it is clear that the health of world leaders will continue to be an important factor in shaping the world's future. As we reach the conclusion of our journey into the predictions and possibilities surrounding global leadership, health, and prophecies, it is clear that the future holds significant uncertainties. The health of world leaders, the shifts in global power, and the broader societal challenges we face all point to a future that demands careful attention and proactive steps to ensure stability, prosperity, and sustainability. The discussions we've had provide us with valuable insights not only into the importance of understanding the impact of leadership health, but also into the pressing need for preparedness in the face of unexpected crises. The predictions about health, technology, and the evolving global system suggest that we are on the brink of monumental changes that could reshape the very fabric of international politics, economics, and culture. How we approach these changes, how we respond to challenges, and how we prepare for the leadership transitions that lie ahead will determine the course of future events. What can we do today? We, as individuals and as members of the global community, have a crucial role to play in shaping the world of tomorrow. The future of global leadership and the decisions that will affect us all are not solely in the hands of world leaders. We each have the power to influence change, whether through advocacy, participation in democratic processes, or a commitment to the collective good. We must take responsibility for the world we want to leave behind. Here are several calls to action that can guide us as we navigate the future. Stay informed. The more we understand about the health and leadership of global figures, the better equipped we are to make informed decisions about our own futures. Stay updated on world events, political transitions, and advancements in healthcare. Knowledge is power, and being well-informed ensures that we can actively engage in discussions and influence the direction of global change. Advocate for better health systems. Health plays a critical role in the ability of leaders to govern effectively. Advocate for strong health systems that provide care not only for political leaders, but also for the citizens they serve. A healthier population leads to a more productive society, and better healthcare for leaders ensures they can make sound decisions and guide nations toward success. Encourage leadership accountability, whether through public elections or global discussions. We must hold leaders accountable for their actions and decisions, especially as they age and face health challenges. Leaders should have a clear succession plan in place, and their ability to serve should always be evaluated based on their health, competence, and dedication to the job. Invest in technological advancements for health. The medical technologies of tomorrow will play a crucial role in ensuring the longevity and health of our leaders. By supporting and investing in medical research, innovations in healthcare, and technologies that enhance the quality of life, we can help ensure that leaders are physically and mentally prepared to face the challenges of their roles. Be prepared for transitions. In a world where health can change unexpectedly, it's important for nations to have plans in place for leadership transitions. These plans should be transparent, clear, and ready to be activated at any moment, whether it's through regular health checks, contingency plans for leadership, or clear communication of succession procedures. Nations must be prepared for any eventuality. Focus on global collaboration. As we see an increasing need for cooperation across borders, it's essential to foster international partnerships that transcend national boundaries. Whether combating global health crises, addressing climate change, or working toward economic stability, collaboration between nations will be key to overcoming the challenges of the future. Be the change you want to see. Every action we take has an impact on the world around us. Lead by example. Whether in your community, workplace, or personal relationships, by focusing on health, leadership, and global responsibility, you can inspire others to act in ways that contribute to the greater good. Reflection on prophecies and reality. It's important to reflect on the role that prophecy, historical patterns, and foresight play in shaping the future. Whether through the lens of Nostradamus warnings or modern-day predictions, there is a recurring theme of the need for vigilance, preparedness, and adaptability. The blend of ancient wisdom and contemporary foresight provides valuable lessons for today's leaders and citizens alike. As we move closer to 2025 and beyond, the decisions made by our global leaders will affect not only the immediate future but the course of humanity for generations to come. With advancements in medical care, technology, and leadership structures, we have the opportunity to create a more resilient world. However, we must recognize the challenges that lie ahead and take proactive measures to address them. The role of video and media in shaping public opinion. In today's digital age, video and media play a significant role in influencing public opinion and shaping how we perceive global leadership and health. With social media, news outlets, and online platforms providing instant access to information, we are more connected than ever before. The power of video and media content cannot be overstated in this context, as they provide a means to both inform and mobilize people around the world. Through compelling video content, we can raise awareness about the health of world leaders, highlight important issues related to global governance, and offer solutions to the challenges we face. Video has the unique ability to connect people across borders, offering a visual and emotional connection to the topics being discussed. It is not just a tool for entertainment or marketing, but also a platform for education, activism, and collaboration. As we approach the pivotal years ahead, it is crucial that we continue to utilize video and other forms of media to advocate for change, inform the public, and drive action on global issues. Whether through documentaries, interviews with experts, or educational content, media has the power to shape the future in profound ways. As we close this video and reflect on the discussions about the health of world leaders, the evolving global system, and the potential for change, we must remember that the future is not set in stone. The decisions we make today, as individuals and as a global community, will determine the trajectory of tomorrow. Now, more than ever, we must work together to ensure that our leaders are healthy, accountable, and prepared for the challenges ahead. Let's advocate for systems that prioritize well-being, invest in the technology that can enhance lives, and foster leadership that can navigate the complexities of the modern world. The future is in our hands, and it is up to us to shape it in a way that is sustainable, prosperous, and just for all. Thank you for watching, and let's continue this journey together as we work toward a better, more informed future. Stay engaged, stay informed, and let's take action for the world we want to build. Join the conversation today, share your thoughts, engage with others, and advocate for the health and well-being of our leaders and our world. Together, we can create a future where everyone thrives,